During the last few months, Ropz has put in some great performances for his squad in Mousesports, and you might be thinking, what role does Ropz play and how does he fit into Mouse's larger system? As we'll see on this one, Ropz's role is far from nailed down. So here on train on the CT side, Ropz plays the B bomb site. And on this occasion, he's decided to play top grey, and as long as you don't get flashed in this position, it can be really, really strong, because you see the feet of the terrorist players long before they see you. And on this hit, Ropz gets 3 nice kills. He stays on the move, he makes it hard for the T players to face him, and gets 4 for the round. And despite still being a young player, Ropz has played the B bomb site for years, and he's great at positioning himself to mop up these frags versus the B site hits. So this next round we're going to be looking at is actually the following round in this game between Mousesports and NIP, and Ropz throws this smoke initially, makes his way over to the A bomb site, going to throw a nade through that window just above the pop dog position. So what Ropz is doing, bring a nice nade set towards B. Got this smoke towards the upper B area, and any T players forced back playing behind this smoke might be around the top of pop dog, and they'll get chunked really badly by that nade coming out from Ropz. The other thing to notice is that Ropz, he's not scared to play on the A bomb site early here. And that's because on the previous round we saw it, he shut down a B hit coming out from NIP. He got 4 kills, so NIP, they might be scared again to go onto that B bomb site, and Ropz knows this sort of dynamic is at play. So we're going to wind forward here because not too much happens for a while. And Ropz on this round, he's picked up the AWP, he's showing some of his versatility, and actually on this Mouse team at the moment, Ropz tends to be the secondary AWPer here on train. So this round's going to end with a 2-on-2 retake onto that A bomb site, and we're going to see that Ropz, he's really solid in these after plants and plays well off of his teammates. So Ropz, he knows the bomb's over towards A, going to rotate his way over, post up on the first line he's exposed to, get a nice kill there onto Nok. And notice here how Bymas, he's waiting for Ropz, and now they swing out as a duo, they spot Twist, they know roughly where he is, and Bymas, he's going to mop up the remaining kill onto Twist over towards E-box. So on this one, we can see that Ropz is a versatile player. He can move in and out of playing on that secondary AWP. He changes up his nades towards that upper B area. Ropz can be really hard to predict, and this makes him a real pain to play against. Staying on the topic of Ropz being a versatile player, on this one, he decides to switch up how he's playing early on. Smoke towards the top of ramp, he can make his way up, play in towards this cubby. He does a good job to stay anti-flash. He's trying to turn those terrorist flashes. He does turn the flash, and Tezes here, I'm not sure he really intended to stick his barrel through the smoke, but Ropz gets a nice frag and puts Mousesports into a 5-on-3. Takes some damage, but does a good job to stay alive and fall back and retain his team's man advantage. And Ropz, he loves to switch up his early options. He's a very dynamic player. It makes it hard for the T side to predict where he's playing. So over on A, Bymas, he catches Stavin going for a push. Frozen, he knows a player is towards the top of Pop Dog. So at this point, Ropz gets a nice information to play with, and he uses that information, he uses his game sense to predict that really, Heroic, they're trying to end over towards this A bomb site. He goes for the flank, and at this point, with those Heroic players penned in, there is no way they can win the round when they're both just trapped here in Pop Dog. And Ropz here on the flank will collect this final kill on to Cadian. But Ropz, he's a very dynamic player. He stays on the move, makes it very hard to predict where he's playing, and he stays unpredictable. No 2 rounds are the same from Ropz, and you guys should follow the same motto. Now, despite Ropz being a B player here on the CT side of train, he doesn't always have to play towards this B bomb site. And on this one, throws that top ramp smoke. He plays the top of grey early. And Chris J, he's playing on top of the brown train. He takes some aggressive angles here onto main. And he decides, I'm going to show my AWP in a second here and then rotate over towards the B bomb site. I'll swap on to playing B. And he says to Ropz, you pick up playing A and I'll play B instead towards this upper area. Now Ropz, on this round, as we said, he's going to be playing actually the A bomb site here. And he decides, after this kind of pressure comes out from aerial at the start, I'm going to move into playing in heaven. In this spot, it's a bit of an unusual position. You don't see it so much. It's kind of the sort of thing you should throw in every once in a while. So on this round, Ents, they're executing here onto this A bomb site. They've just thrown a smoke for the back of that green train. So Ropz, he can focus more so on the site side. He's looking towards Sandwich. Going to get a good frag here onto Sunny as he swings out. There it is. Good kill from Ropz. And as his back green smoke starts to fade, he knows there is a player towards the Ivy area. So he posts up on that one. He stays on the move as much as he can and kills Jampy. But the problem with Heaven is that you can't move, you can't reposition very much, and he falls down to Sergey here. And as Chris J gets the remaining frags on this retake. The big takeaway here is that Ropz, he doesn't have to play the B bomb site. Sometimes he can move over to playing on A. It's important to have this versatility in a top level team where Mousesports, they can play any setup they want. Sometimes they might want to swap that AWP onto the B bomb site. And having a player like Ropz that can proficiently play both bomb sites is a big boom for them. Allows them to have so much more adaptability and versatility in the setups they can choose to play. So jumping on to the T side, you join us in this pistol round here from Mousesports. So on this one, Ropz, he's been dropped the P250, so he can take some ranged fights and potentially get an entry onto this Fnatic side. He can't find anybody on B, and actually on this one, Mousesports, they'll be executing onto that outer bomb site, the A bomb site. So on this execute, they're going to be throwing a pop dog smoke, there's another one over towards back green. And on this one, Ropz, you might think he's going to be isolated out of the site by that pop dog smoke, but he knows how to play around it. And coming down, he knows Brolan is in this smoke. And this one, a bit of a kind of a vac moment. He knew he was in there. Maybe the smoke looked a little bit different actually in game. Now after these frags, they decide instead, we should go B. We've kind of faked A here. And Ropz, he's holding the rotator. Does a really good job. He knows that Flusher is in towards there. And he moves his way on to the site. Now, as the bomb gets planted here, they are man down on Mousesports. So in a 2-on-3 situation, and they need to even up the numbers. They need to take some aggressive fights. They decide, let's swing out together. And Ropz, of course, playing the range game with his P250, gets 2 fast kills and putting them into a 2-on-1 scenario. So here, they play well. They do actually double peak Crims here. I'm not really sure how neither of them hit the Swedish player, but Crims, he's had a really good pistol round. He's going to finish off Ropz. So pistol rounds are more about mechanics and luck than regular rounds, but even so, Mouse prioritised Ropz and gave him that P250 to seek out the entries and take the long-range fights as we just saw. He almost secured the round, but he couldn't quite get it over the line in the end. So what sort of role does Ropz play in the set executes coming out from Mousesports? Well, here on train, he tends to be throwing some nades and going in later, whilst his entries make some space. So on this one, Mousesports, they'll be running a set executes here onto the B bomb site, and Ropz throws this smoke for upper. He'll be coming out of the upper area. So pausing here, let's have a look at this execute coming out from Mousesports. They have smokes for connector, as well as from the brown to yellow train. On this round, the majority of the players coming out from ramp, they'll be trying to make some space, and Ropz, he's throwing this smoke. And what this smoke does is remove all the vision from connector or playing on top of the brown train or from back here or from the end of upper. All these areas they can't spot Ropz, and Ropz can come out of upper and get some trades onto any players on the bomb site. So, as this one plays out, the first few frags will go the way of NIP, but Ropz up here, he knows where Hampus is and he can get the trade. So at this point, Ropz, he understands how to play this sort of situation on the B bomb site. He knows he needs to push forward and gain some space from his team, exactly as Karrigan is also doing. And Ropz, he will just about spot the player at the end of upper. 1 kill onto Nork, this second kill onto Plopsky is absolutely disgusting. And he knows just to fall down with the man advantage and stay alive. So on this round, Ropz played his role in the execute perfectly, and I can assure you he's played enough rounds when executing onto the B bomb site on train to know that he needs to gain space and push up for that after plant, especially when going down in the numbers. So Ropz and his teammates always have some nice little plays to take some map control, and that's precisely what we're going to be seeing on this one. So here Ropz, he heard a player coming into Pop Dog earlier on, so he knows that there is at least one player down here. And he's saying to Bymass, you flash me in. Bymass, he's lining up this flash and he'll right click it for Ropz. So Ropz, on this flash, as it comes in, he'll drop down at exactly the same time. Tezes is forced to turn that flash, as you can see, and Ropz, he gets the entry kill on to Tezes and immediately falls out and stays alive and keeps Mousesports in this 5-on-3, allowing no opportunities for a trade and a window for Heroic to get back into the round. So Mousesports here, they group on towards B. A good flash from Ropz and he's holding back grey and he gets this good flick on towards connector. Mousesports, they didn't need any more players running out onto the bomb site, so Ropz, he just did a good job posting on back grey and locking down the rotates. So if you want another simple way to take Pop Dog control, learn from Mouse, Ropz, he's just posted up here on Pop Dog. By mass, he's faking out a player jump spotting, and Tezes here, he thinks he can peek out and get a cheeky pick, but it turns out Ropz is the player that gets the cheeky frags. He gets the kill from that little bait and switch. And as we said, Mouse have countless variations of ideas for taking map control, and Ropz is probably the best in the world at getting this control towards Pop Dog. So as we've seen already, on the majority of TU rounds, it tends to be other players getting aggressive whilst Ropz sits back for the after punt. But here, Ropz saved over an AK, and he needs to be the one getting aggressive and seeking out that opening. So on this one, Mouse, they'll be executing onto A, and Ropz, he's throwing this molly, which is going to land just outside of Pop Dog. On a flash from his teammate, jumps down into Pop Dog, and now swinging behind the molly and using that molly advantage through the molly smoke, gets the entry there on to Brolan. So as Ropz closes out this round on the hero AK, let's discuss his role on Mouse. So on both sides, some may just categorize Ropz as someone that plays this spot in this way, but in reality, in the top level of CS, you have to be able to play a variety of spots, play aggressive, play passive, and crucially, play the right way for the situation. In the community, there is a tendency to paint players into a box with their style and skill set, when really we should be acknowledging the versatility of these top players, and Ropz is a great example of someone who adapts precisely to the scenarios placed in front of him.